Hello and welcome to Seattle City Makers. I'm your host, Jon Scholes. Welcome to our latest episode. I'm pleased to be joined by Suzana Sakay, the president and CEO of the Washington Athletic Club, the nearly 100-year-old institution in our downtown. And Suzana has been at the helm now for just about a year, a little over a year actually, as the president and CEO, the eighth in the WAC's history. And she and I discuss her leadership journey there, her leadership approach, the state of the club, and what's to come. I hope you enjoy my conversation with Suzana Sakay, the president and CEO of the Washington Athletic Club. Well, thank you for coming by today. We started our week together at the WAC.
We did.
Well, noon on Monday, and now we close it out on
That's right.
4 on Friday.
That's right. And it's sunny today. It's gorgeous out
things
here.
have improved, at least weather-wise this week.
Yeah.
It feels like spring just all of a sudden happened like an hour ago.
Yeah.
You
The
think?
cherry blossoms are confused. They keep coming out and then they're dying
Yeah, and
and
you
then
have
they're
some
out
beautiful
again.
ones
We
right
do.
across from the WAC.
It's gorgeous.
Courtesy
I love
of-
them. I see them from my window.
Yeah.
I love it.
Courtesy of 1 and 2 Union and Washington Holdings there.
Yeah.
So
That's
they
right.
are peak.
That's right. And we added some artificial ones in our lobby this morning.
did
It
you?
looks so pretty.
I don't mind artificial. Like some people get all
They're beautiful.
Yeah, I'm all for it.
People
Less
are asking
maintenance.
us if they're real. So that's always a good sign.
Yeah. So you're fooling some people. So you've been in the role now a little over a year, and so it
Yeah,
felt like a great
that's
time
right.
to sit down.
Yeah,
And,
thanks for having
You've
me.
been getting a lot of pub and press, as they say, and some great profiles and of a pretty incredible story of your leadership and career trajectory and
Yeah.
making it here after leaving war-torn Croatia and Bosnia and
That's right. Yeah.
meeting your husband along the way.
Yeah. Where do you want me to start?
There's a lot, I know. Well, maybe let's start with just your first year and what's been most rewarding, what's been most surprising. It's certainly obviously a place you knew because you've had a 14-year career there?
I got my CEO job actually on my 14th anniversary at the WAC. It was the same day. You know how you get those notices from your payroll system? Happy anniversary in the morning.
Anniversary.
And then literally my job announcement went
How
out
convenient. So
later
you
that
kept
day.
your anniversary date.
I did.
That's good. It's easy to remember now.
So that was pretty cool. Yeah.
When did you decide you wanted
Yeah.
the job and you wanted to be CEO?
Yeah. So
Because it was known for some time that Chuck was going to...
He was retiring. He announced about 6 months prior.
Yeah.
And I was actually tapped by a member, one of our former chairmen, who took me out for lunch. And usually when a member wants to have lunch, I'm like, oh, brother,
There's something. They've
what's
got a
going
list.
on?
They're either not happy with the towel
What's
service or
happening?
they
That's
think you
right.
should be
That's
CEO.
right. And he was Paul Rivetta. He's a well-known WAC member. He was a chairman probably about 10 years ago. And he's like, you should really think about applying. And
Were you thinking about it then?
I was VP of membership, so
Yeah.
I was already kind of in the C-suite, but I hadn't thought I was thinking about it, but not really pursuing it yet. But it's one of those things when you're so busy in your day job that you can't really make room for one more thing, right? And so he kind of wanted to chat me up, and he said, there's a lot of members who would support it. We really think you're amazing. The club really needs your leadership, something along those lines. And I went home and talked to my family and really started thinking about it more seriously, and then applied pretty soon after that and started getting into it and kind of preparing. I'd been at that job for 14 years. So sometimes when you haven't interviewed in a while, you kind of have to refresh those,
And you've been promoted.
skills internally. Yeah,
along the
absolutely.
way.
Yeah. Because I kind of grew up in spa and wellness industry. So
Yeah.
I come from hospitality. I kind of grew up in hospitality.
And you started there managing the spa.
Retail as well. Yeah, exactly. And so I've always been all about the customer and really paying attention to what we can do better every day. I always want to move the needle, even if it's just a little bit every single day. And that wellness background and kind of that holistic approach to wellness is really resonates with me. And I think about that every day in the clubhouse too, because when you think about the combination of health and wellness and social and making friends and how all those things kind of interface and interact with each other and how important it is for our overall health and wellness, I think the WAC is in such a unique position to do all of that. So that's kind of the approach that I really have every day when I come to work. So, and
Without that nudge from that former chair, you think you would have?
I don't think so.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. Again, because I was so busy in my day to day that I was just like, I'm perfectly content. I'm doing a lot,
Yeah.
but then once I got into it, then I started getting really excited, and then I knew they were obviously seeing other candidates. We had interview panel. The whole process took about 4 months, and then I got the job.
What's been most rewarding in the first 13 or so months you've been on the job?
Yeah, I would say the membership has been quite incredible. The support from the membership in general. We have about 8,200 members at the WAC. And so I almost feel like a mayor of a small town when I walk around, which is so
The city
cool.
in the city.
It is. And so when we have new offerings, when we have new programming or something new that we initiated under my watch in this last year. The other thing, having been the VP of membership for 3 years prior to that, it just meant that I had that vantage point coming into the job that I've been hearing from members for 3 years every day about what they want and what they're looking for and how we can make their experience better. So then once I became the CEO, then it was like, okay, game on. I have 3 years worth of notes. I know exactly where I want to go and what to do. So one of the first things we launched was, Reformer Pilates studio, for example, and our hot yoga studio. And my emphasis was from the beginning, I wanted just more things to be part of membership. The members don't like this feeling, of being nickel and dimed and extra charges showing up on your statement. I just wanted more things to be included and just make it more of a holistic, inclusive experience. So those new things that I kind of had a hunch that members would love, and now to see them be so successful and having members just approach me randomly in the building and just say, thank you so much. This has been incredible. Everything you're doing is so amazing. I can see your touch everywhere in the building. And so that's just been so gratifying. I love that. And then I would say the second piece is just working with our team, just being able to really build the team that I want to help fulfill our strategic vision and kind of get us to the next 95 years. That would be the second piece that I just love it.
How do you balance like new ideas, change, trial and error, pivoting different parts of the club against like tradition of 95 years of people knowing something a certain way and having their routine and their expectations, and you're charged with stewarding this building that's on the National Historic Register and this institution downtown. Like, how do you balance those two?
It's a delicate balance for sure, yes, because we always try to reinvent ourselves a little bit to pivot to what the market is asking for, right? So because the office culture was disrupted so much during COVID, the city's been disrupted. There's more families living in the city. Even what you said at the last DSA event when you said people love seeing families out on the sidewalk and we love seeing kids because we feel safe, if we feel welcome, and we feel like it's a growing community. I feel that's the same way about the WAC, right? So pivoting what we offer is super important because we have to respond to what the market is looking for. So right now, for us, the market wants more family programming, more ways to connect. People don't want to just do a fitness program when they're just on their own and they're just working out until they can barely walk and they're sweating. They don't want that. They want more of a social feel. So group classes are really important. That's why Reformer Pilates in a group setting is really important. That's why yoga is important because people also want to have that social connection, even in the fitness realm. They do. They don't want to work out by themselves. That's why.
You think that's different than kind of pre-COVID times?
Because a lot of us are working by ourselves now during the day, right? Or we're isolated, or we work from home more than we ever did before.
We're on a Zoom call for.
That's right. Yeah. So now, when you come to your fitness world, so to speak, you want to be around other people, and so that's why, for me, in this first year, there's been a lot of emphasis on group classes. So we took our offering from, I think we were at about 60 classes a week a year ago, and now we're at 96. So we're obviously putting a lot of resources and a lot of thought into developing that program because it's so important. But then, yes, balancing with tradition, of course. So we have to understand what is important. We're always going to have our Jubilee party, for example. I think you've been to those. It's our birthday bash party that we host in December. It's basically on our birthday. and anywhere from 600 to 800 members and guests will attend that party. That will always be there. We'll always have an Easter brunch. We have one this weekend. We'll always have Mother's Day brunch. Those are the things that we know members love. We have a wonderful connection with Seafair. We host the Blue Angels at the WAC, and the pilots stay at the WAC. That's never going to go away. I mean,
so there's this nice balance.
We'll have them as long as they'll have us, right? But then, so it's a combination of both. And I think for me, it's really just that connection to the member where I understand what resonates, what's really important, what does really well for us. And so we'll keep them forever. Absolutely.
Was the Vinyl and Vibes whiskey record thing your idea?
That came from our F&B team. So we launched that last week, I think, was the first one. And it's been going really well.
I just seen the signage and it was intriguing.
It's very intriguing.
Check that out. I did see the turntable though. I was like, that's cool.
Yeah, right? Something different to add kind of the music element.
Can we bring our own vinyl?
That you can bring your own vinyl. Yeah.
Oh, wow, look at that.
But it's kind of goes back to the same theme of people wanting to socialize and do something together.
And you connect
And then when you bring your own vinyl, you can talk about
whiskey.
it. Yeah, exactly. With other members. So we love it. Yeah. So that's something new we're trying. So sometimes we'll try something new for a few months and see how it does. I'm a big believer in kind of surprising and delighting the member a little bit too. So I like to do things that are maybe not that planned, but I just sort of pop them out there. Like the cherry blossom tree that I was talking about. That we didn't talk about that. We just did it this morning. And we have little Easter eggs with little surprises for the kids so they can pick them up on their way in or on their way out. Because, we have a daycare center as well. So a lot of kiddos in the afternoons. But that's just something we did it to surprise our members.
What's your customer feedback loop? How are you getting the voice of the customer and sort of working through desires and input?
We actually have a pretty robust governance structure at the WAC because we're member owned. So we're not owned by like an equity or management firm. So we have about 200 members or so who volunteer on various committees and our board. So that's the first one. That's kind of my first layer. I do always say, though, that's probably our fan club, so we can't just take whatever
everything's great.
They tell us, yes, because they love the club, obviously.
Yeah.
And then just different mechanisms through reviews, feedback forms, surveys, that sort of thing. Me just walking around being the mayor of my town and talking to everyone, because I do think it's important. I love the voice of the customer. I think that's so important in hospitality. So anything we can do to learn what our customer thinks in that moment, what they like, what they don't like, super important. So I go out of my way to talk to my customers every day. I call them my rounds. About every hour and a half to 2 hours, I'll just go walk the building and just talk to people. I love it. Yeah.
So formal and informal feedback and
absolutely.
Input channels.
And sometimes formal feedback is important to you because it just confirms the informal feedback, and it also just helps me get buy-in from my stakeholders. If I need to make an investment in a certain area, then it's helpful to have some data points as well. So that's why I like to do both.
And the pandemic was pretty hard on clubs and gyms and daycares and hotels and restaurants, and you have all of those things under one roof. And we sit here today this week with the Columbia Tower Club announcing its consolidation or closure of the club there and consolidation down to the collective in South Lake Union. How would you describe the state of the WAC today?
Yeah. So I will say I feel really good about where we are. So we definitely felt COVID for sure. And I always like to say that in some ways we kind of battled two pandemics because we had the COVID pandemic, but then we also had the state of downtown, the state of office work, the state of how people perceived Seattle. So
what was happening outside your front door?
A lot of challenges, right? I had members on the phone with me because I was overseeing membership at that time, and they would say, I can't come into the city. I don't feel safe. Cancel my membership. Things like that. So for sure, all of those were challenging. And I think with the office culture still being kind of disrupted, it's still, very quiet on Fridays in the city. I noticed your office was pretty quiet today. I mean, that's what happens. And I don't know if that's going to change anytime soon, right? So then we
Mondays
have to
seem
adjust.
to be getting busier, but not Fridays.
Especially a sunny Friday. I mean, come on,
people
forget it.
escaped for the blue sky.
Exactly.
Not us. Here we are.
So that continues, we have to be really smart about what we're offering during the rest of the times of the week,
Yeah.
right? So we've noticing a lot of Friday events for us are now becoming Thursday and Wednesday events, and actually Thursday is probably our busiest event day of the week. Like last night, we had wine tasting, we had trivia night, we had the Vinyl and Vibe and Torchies. So that's what we're seeing. So we have to adjust to that, of course. And Fridays are quiet, so we just have to be okay with that. We have less classes on Fridays, so we're shifting our resources to days when the customer wants to be here. It was not like that before COVID. So we just have to adjust to what's normal, our new normal.
Yeah. Well, the club has certainly shown a lot of resiliency over its almost 100 years. There's not a lot of institutions that have been operating in similar ways for 100 years downtown. And so
same business model that we had in 1930. It really hasn't changed much.
Do you have, are you already thinking about the 100th birthday and the 100th Jubilee?
Gosh. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love
Big
it.
bash,
So
going big.
we did quite a few things for WAC 95.
Yeah.
So we did WAC merchandise. We did all kinds of vintage events that we kind of brought back. We did this vintage series that I was really excited about, because we used to have more dancing. We used to have scuba diving lessons in the pool. There were some other things that we used to do over the decades that kind of went away. So we've been bringing them back as like pop-up events. So that's been really fun. We did banners on the sidewalk. I don't know if you noticed them. That was a journey to try to figure that out too, through the permitting with the city. But we did it. We figured it out. And that was, I kind of saw it almost as a warm up to WAC 100, because I wanted our team to kind of have that muscle memory. So then when we do get ready for that big one, it's like we've done it somewhat for WAC 95. So I'm really excited about that. We're going to do a coffee table book as well. We really want to kind of highlight our history. And,
cool.
And we have a pretty robust archive. We've saved every single article, every single magazine, every single newsletter that we've done in 95-year history.
Okay.
So digging through that and kind of finding those gems will be super cool. So I'm super excited.
Yeah, it's like a little picture book into the history of the city you look at the history of the WAC.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of great stories.
Yeah.
We talked about that a little bit ago with Boys in a Boat. Like those. We have a picture at the WAC of those guys on one of our balconies when they came back.
Which were sent to Germany by
That's
WAC
right.
members, not because of the good, the generosity of the University of California, as the movie incorrectly noted.
But the book is correct.
Yes.
So I tell people
Credit
to read the
to
book.
the WAC.
That's right. Helene Madison trained in our pool. She has several Olympic medals from several competitions. So, a lot of great stories. There's a legend too. I don't know if this is totally true, but we believe it. I choose to believe it. Is that the idea for the Seattle Science Fair was born in Seattle on a cocktail napkin at the WAC
For the World's Fair?
for the World's Fair.
Right,
so those are how great, right?
Yeah.
What great stories.
Yeah.
So we want to lean into that, and we want to be able to tell all those stories for our WAC 100, so that people really learn about us. Because I think a lot of people, even in downtown, don't get what we do. They think it's just a hotel, or some people just think it's a gym, especially when people are new to Seattle. So my job, I think, as the CEO is to just do more storytelling. That's why I'm here today as well.
Yeah, you've talked, I've read some of the profiles that have been written on you over the last year. I think it was Seattle Met, perhaps, where you talked about what you see as the importance of storytelling to your own leadership. Like, what do you mean by that? It just to align everybody. Like, where are we trying to go? What are we trying to do? What are we trying to accomplish? I think that's so important, because so much more is gained out of all the resources that I have at my fingertips if everybody's sort of swimming in the same direction, so to speak. Just keep swimming. Bought into the same story.
That's right, because I think that's so important. I think we have such an important role to play at downtown. That's the other thing. About every month, about half of our members are new to Seattle. These are transplants that are coming in from all over the world. And
of people that are joining.
People who are joining every single month. There's anywhere from 30 to 50 to 60 people who are joining the club every single month, and about half of them are brand new to the city. Sometimes they've only been here for a weekend. They're still unpacking.
Yeah.
And but they understand that, okay, so I'm sort of getting a sense from my office. I sort of understand what's happening in the city. But where do I go to make friends? Where do I go to network? Where do I go to stay fit and be healthy and have a good work-life balance? And they think of us. So in a way, it's really flattering that we're one of the first faces of Seattle for so many new people who move here. So I love being part of that for them.
Do you have a whack routine when you're not doing the rounds?
For me, for myself?
Yeah, for how you use the club, what you do.
I just work.
You don't have time for a whack routine because you're working at the
when
whack.
I started there, I worked in the spa. So that's my getaway. When I can go get a spa service or sit in the sauna or...
What about the
I love
cryotherapy
that. I do the
treatment?
cryotherapy too.
not
We're
tried
adding ice vaults too.
What is that?
It's
That
a
sound-
little bit, it's kind of like
that
the
sounds
cold
scary.
plunge
Ice vault?
solution. Well, I think they're technically called ice locker, maybe.
That doesn't sound any better.
Ice vault, ice box.
James isn't sold. Neither
Walk-in
am I.
freezer. I don't know. But we're adding those this summer, and that's going to be slightly less cold version of cryotherapy.
It's so good for you, right?
And
I gotta
more
try
than
that.
one person can be in there.
Okay.
And it's a little bit less, there's less contraindications around it because it's not quite as shocking for the body.
Yeah.
And so you can tolerate it for longer. And we're putting it right next to our steam rooms and saunas. So you can kind of have that triple effect, where you kind of do the cold and the hot. It's so funny. So last year, we went to the UK just on vacation. I think I was telling you that we went to London and we explored the countryside for a couple of days in the Cotswolds. And we saw a Roman villa that you could go visit.
Oh, yeah.
And they literally had the cold plunge, the sauna, and the steam room like side by side. So it's primal, right? We've done it for thousands of years and we know it's good for us. And now we can do it at the WAC. So that's my escape. I do that when I can. Absolutely. I love it.
Yeah.
Have you tried it? You should try it.
No, I have plenty of sauna time, but I haven't done the cryo, but I'll check it out.
Do the ice vault.
And then the ice vault.
Or the whatever it's called. Ice box.
Locker box vault. You can get out of it. That's important.
We don't lock you in or anything, no.
You can get out. You can escape. I will. I will give that. Give that a try. Are there other things on the horizon or things you're thinking about coming to the club, changes, investments and improvements that you want to know?
Yeah. So we're actually opening a business center in the next couple of weeks. So more kind of pods and things to work out of at the WAC and have private calls and things like that.
You're seeing that demand for people.
There's a demand for that for sure.
Yeah,
so
I certainly use the club in that way, or what I can of like score a corner.
Absolutely.
Chair, make
so
a
they'll
call.
have more. You'll have more
That's
spaces
great,
for that. We're adding a family room for kind of older kids. So we have a daycare center, but once they age out of daycare, so at the age of 6, I believe, there's not a whole lot for them to do in the club because they can't really work out until they're 12.
Right.
So I'm trying to do something for that gap.
That space between.
And so
then
we're
Vinyl
adding
and Vibes, that doesn't work for me either.
No, I don't think so. But we're adding a family room for the kiddos. So we'll have, nice furniture in there, video games, a place to do homework, place to meet up with a tutor. So that's launching as well in the next couple of months. And then after that, my next initiative is going to be a spin studio, like a really cool kind of clubby with really cool AV and sound and video for spin studios. Again, kind of going back to that communal workout, communal fitness. And that's going to be up on the 8th floor. I know you know that area really well.
Oh, yeah.
So when you think of the 8th floor, you'll get off the elevator and you'll have a cafe. You'll have a golf simulator. You'll have a spin studio, reformer Pilates, and the family room for the kids, and a bouncy house.
Oh, wow.
And then the basketball court.
And the basketball court.
Which we also use for pickleball.
Pickleball, yeah. You have to nowadays.
Just that
right?
one floor. That's all in just one
that's a lot.
floor. So, and we have 8 other floors with fitness. So that's pretty cool. So we're really excited about that.
So a lot of added value without having to tear down walls, put up new walls.
That's right.
A lot of huge capital. I mean, there's some capital and bikes and some of the other things you're going to have to bring in there. But
we're using our space. I want to be really smart about our space because I can't expand the building. The building is finite. So I want to just use every nook and cranny. I'm just always looking, what could we do better? And again, adding more things that are just included with membership. That's key.
Will World Cup affect you in any way? Are you thinking about that? Or do you have enough sort of going on and enough demand in the hotel that soccer fans they'll end up somewhere else. And
I have to plug Croatia and Bosnia. They both made it in. Bosnia
That's
made it by the
right.
skin of their teeth like 2 days ago. They
That's
were so
right.
excited. So I'm super happy to see them. And I think Bosnia is going to play here in Seattle.
Yeah.
So that's super exciting.
Yeah.
Because I've lived there, both Bosnia and Croatia. So super excited for that. So I think, our hotel is going to be very busy. It's probably going to be our busiest month ever on record. So we're super excited about that. And then we're just doing a lot of, watch parties all over the clubhouse. So that's going to be very exciting.
And I noticed when the Mariners had the great run they had last fall, you were really leaning into
We did, absolutely.
sports and watch parties and
Seahawks and all of that.
Yeah. What are your for sports and
that does really well for us.
a club built around sports and
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And then to support local too. That's another story I really like to tell is that we're a Seattle brand. We're committed to Seattle. We're not a chain hotel that has locations all over the world. We're just in Seattle. So we love supporting Seattle, whether it's sports or arts or performance arts. We're here for Seattle through and through.
Are there some unique challenges of caring for this terrific but almost 100-year-old building?
Yeah, I would say the biggest challenge is when you're making a lot of investments into the infrastructure that members don't see. And that's that can be hard. Yeah. So I'm trying
that's where
to
those
actually
artificial cherry trees come in, low cost and high impact.
You're right. Exactly right. We spend, $3 million modernizing our elevators, for example, but nobody can see it, right? So I think for me, the challenge is, again, back to storytelling, is to be able to tell the story of the entire building and all the things that we're doing behind the scenes that are necessary for a 95-year-old building, but then at the same time do enough member-facing projects where the member gets the benefit immediately. So finding that balance is tricky, but I think we strike the right chord.
One of your lead maintenance or engineering guys has been there for how long now? Like
70 years.
70?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I know, Bill Raw. Yeah, he's a legend.
That's right.
Yeah. He's actually featured in some of our videos as well.
Yeah.
He's pretty amazing. He loves that place. He doesn't want to go anywhere anytime soon.
Apparently not.
And he does back of the house tours for us, and because he has all the stories. And,
I bet he's got plenty.
He really leans into it too. He loves it. This last year we did something new. We did a Halloween version of a back of the house tour. This is where you go like under the swimming pool and you go into
like
the
a little
basement.
haunted house kind of thing.
So we did like a little bit of a haunted house situation. It was really well received. I think we're going to do those again.
That's cool.
We really leaned into Halloween last year. It was really fun. We did a murder mystery dinner. We did the haunted back of the house tour, and then we do a wonderful Halloween bash for families and kiddos. So it was really fun.
That's super cool. I mean, as somebody who raised kids downtown, you have a different kind of trick-or-treating experience.
That's right.
Than if you're in one of the great single-family neighborhoods. So
that's right.
Those things like that you're doing, I imagine, have great appeal to.
And it's warm, and it doesn't rain at the WAC.
Like that's what I always I always tell when we were raising our kids downtown, and they were that age, and it was kind of nice to just walk the halls and take the elevators of your condo or apartment building.
We'll bring them to our haunted tour.
Yeah, they've aged out, but I will spread the word to to others. Oh, but the haunted tours for
there was a 20s and 30s in there.
Yeah, the haunted tour, not trick or treating. Yeah,
I mean they were.
I'll send them over there. Yeah,
they'd be loving it. Absolutely.
So, Suzana, we have a couple standard questions. First is what was your first job that you drew a paycheck for? Yeah,
I know. I thought about that for a second because I had to think about it. It was a while ago. But so when I lived in the Balkans, my first real job was being a translator, actually.
Oh, so it was a job with NATO.
Was with NATO, yeah. So I did that straight out of high school and lived on an Army base, for 2 years. But my first paycheck was from a contracting company out of Texas. I think they're called BDM. I don't know if they're still around.
And you were kind of going back and forth and...
I did, yeah. So I lived on a border town. Yep. So and border towns, as sometimes happens in war times, are sometimes the first places where there's issues. Because it can ignite easy on a border town, and it did for us. So one of the first things they did is they blew up the bridge that was connecting the two communities, and and then once the NATO peacekeepers came in, the United States forces were there as well. U.S. Army Corps of Engineers actually repaired that bridge, Later on, I found out my husband was actually in that unit that repaired the bridge.
So you didn't meet him when you were...
I didn't meet him at that time.
When he was
I met him
working on the
toward
new
the
bridge.
end. No, we learned that later.
Oh, wow.
But I was the first person in either town to be able to cross that bridge. And that felt amazing for me because it was so symbolic. But then I would come home and my mom would have like letters for me that needed to be mailed out on the other side of the river, medicine that needed to be picked up. And because I was the only person that could go back and forth.
Wow.
And so that was pretty amazing. But then later on, after
That's quite the first job.
That was my first job.
Usually it's like fast food or dishwasher.
Yeah. I know. I translated for U.S. Army. Yeah.
And you taught yourself English?
Well, I took English in high school. In Europe, it's taking English or a foreign language. It's pretty standard.
Yeah.
A lot of high schools will do 2 or 3 languages. So I did that, but I also taught myself watching Friends and Frasier and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. That was your first Seattle connection, was Frasier.
It was actually, yeah. I learned about Space Needle from Frasier. I was disappointed that there's no such view though from anywhere, right? It's a made up view from his condo. But yeah, that was my first job, and I did that for 2 years, and then I took some time off, and then I ended up moving here after my husband and I got married. My husband's from Seattle, so that's how we ended up here, born and raised. And
the late U.S. Senator Slade Gordon had something to do with how you ended up in the United States and then Washington, right?
You do your research,
a
sir.
Bit. Yeah, well, you've been all over, so there's some good stuff out there. But he helped you with the visa, right?
He did, yeah. So funny enough, after we got married, we get this letter, or my husband gets the letter here in Seattle, and it said something to the effect of, it's going to take 2 to 3 years to get your wife here. And, when you're 22 years old, that's forever. And so we're, devastated. And my husband's like, I can just move there. I just want to be with you. We'll figure this out. And so then he, poor guy, starts writing, Pentagon, DOD. He's really trying to, kind of get some attention on the matter. And nobody was really helping. State Department, nobody was really helping. And then somehow, through family connections, they get a hold of Slade Gordon's office. And they were on it. It was really incredible. I got a call at my apartment back home, and basically said, you have an appointment at the embassy in Zagreb on Monday at 10 o'clock. Can you be there?
Some great constituent services.
What? And then
Senator Gordon's office.
Yes, it was amazing. And sure enough, we went there, and I didn't have, usually when you go to an embassy in a different country, back then anyway, you'd have a long line of people. They all trying to get services. And they said, no, go straight ahead, front of the line. The consulate car drove me to my doctor's appointments. Because you need to get your X-rays and some other stuff, before you can come here. And they did that, and I had my visa that day.
And you had the opportunity to thank Senator Gordon, right?
And then I met him at the WAC.
At the WAC,
like
full
15
circle.
years later, he came for an event, and I met him, and I was so humbled to meet him. And I just ran up to him and hugged him. And he was like, who is this person? But he
You're
was
the reason I'm here.
He was thrilled. And it was just, he was retired by then, but it was just wonderful to see him.
Well, I know he spent a lot of time in the building and at the WAC.
Did. Yeah. And actually remember Charles, our doorman?
Oh, yeah.
He was the one that gave me the intel that Senator Gordon was in the building.
Oh,
because
really?
I wouldn't have known. And he's like, he's in the building. You should go say hi to him.
Another great employee of yours.
Yeah.
So our final question is, what's your perfect Saturday in Seattle, in the Seattle area?
Yeah.
I know you reside north.
Yeah, we love it. We
can stretch it here.
Yeah, we have a Seattle day at least once a month. We love it. Where the whole family comes out here for the day. We usually love the market. We got to start there. We go get the French pastries and the coffee, and we get the chowder and aquarium, or if I can go to Alkai, that's wonderful too. The zoo, those are kind of our favorites. But yeah, we love it here. And most of my kids' birthdays have been in Seattle. When we ask them, what do you want to do for your birthday? I want to have a Seattle day. And then we pretty much know what that. We'd love going to Watson Kennedy. We get some goodies there, some tea or candles, and just make a day of it. We love it. Do
you end up going through the WAC, or do you stay away from the office, so to speak?
I'll do my rounds, and then I get going.
Even on the weekend.
I do my rounds. I do. I love it.
Well, thanks for what you do. And it's been great to see your touches
Yeah.
in this
Thank
great
you.
institution and how you're balancing the great tradition and history, but bringing more value to this incredible building and organization. I'm
Yeah.
in there often, as you know,
Mhm.
and it's such a great institution in our downtown, the city and the city. And so thank you for
is.
your
Thank you.
mayoral leadership of it and for
Thank
coming
you.
on
Thank you for having
Seattle
me.
City Makers.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me. Thank you so much. And I'll see you at the club.
You will. Well, I hope you enjoyed my conversation with Suzana. Love what she's doing at the club, and it's such a terrific organization and institution in our downtown, and many thanks to her for coming on Seattle City Makers. I want to close out with a recommendation of something to check out downtown, and I want to lift up the recent announcement that Ethan Stoll is opening up a new restaurant downtown, a steakhouse concept in the former Miller Guild space in the ground floor of the Hotel Max over there at 7th and Stewart. It's a terrific space, and it's been dark and vacant for about 5 years, and it's just fabulous that Ethan will be back. No opening date announced just yet, but keep your eyes peeled for a great new concept from the one and only Ethan Stoll, and glad to have him investing in our downtown. Well, thanks everybody for joining us on Seattle City Makers, presented by the Downtown Seattle Association with support from James Cito and production by Fred Fear.